What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Daddy Fino Flash Podcast, featuring your homies, obviously me, Daddy Fino, and of course my co-host, the one and only JT Flash.
Hey up.
Hey, what's up? How you doing, JT?
I'm all right. How are you doing?
I'm good. I gotta say, man, I'm pretty good. Now, just want to say, we gotta say congrats to ourselves, man. This is episode 1 of the Daddy Fino Flash Podcast. I don't know what to feel right now, man.
What a time to be alive.
Right?
Yeah, episode 1, 2019. I'm excited, but I'm going to stop you right there. We're just going to get right into it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. There's some things that have been happening this week, and I got a lot on my mind. Let's start off with no disrespect to the NBA playoffs and what's going on right now, but let's talk about boxing, okay?
Boxing, okay. All right, I'm down for that. Let's do it. Let's just jump in. I got you.
I think everybody has heard this week, Deontay Wilder's comments about his fight with Brazil. And, to me, his comments, about possibly killing the challenger in the ring, I
heard about that.
Yeah, basically saying, he plays a sport where you can get paid to kill a man and get paid for it at the same time. So why not use his right to do so? And I want to talk about that a little bit, and I'm going to let you start. How do you feel about a boxer, Wilder's reputation, his record speaks for itself in terms of knockouts. How do you feel about Wilder's comments leading up to this fight?
Well, I got to say I love them, man. I mean, it's boxing. If you're not in there to – I know to say kill is wrong. Don't get me wrong. I understand that. But when you're punching someone in their face, there's a great chance that they could die. I mean, the brain is in your head. So one punch to the right spot, I mean, it's over. You could die. So to expect a boxer to not say the word kill is kind of crazy. And I feel like it was an overreaction to it. I love those comments. That's what you're trying to do. It's just like, I mean, I know he probably meant kill, like in basketball, Kobe Bryant's trying to kill the other team. He's obviously can't kill them, literally. But, Wilder's doing the same thing. He's going in there to kill his opponent, to win the match and show that he's the man. And, I don't know about you, but who right now is a better man than Deontay Wilder?
Well, he's a bad man, I'll tell you that. This is my thing. I think other boxers, especially in the heavyweight classes, have said things similar to this. But let's start with this. There was some bad blood between Brazil and Wilder, and I don't know if he meant kill as in the way you're talking. I think he literally wanted to end this man's life. Like I said, to me, boxing and even MMA is a sport. When you get in that ring, you have to have a mentality of kill or be killed. So I can understand his comments. I don't want to know what would have happened had, he added a body to his record or the things he was saying this week on ESPN. To me, it hypes up the sport a little bit. I mean, I was more interested to watch. I mean, I was already going to watch anyway, but it was.
I definitely watched it, and I don't really watch boxing like that.
It was the comments were out there, and Tyson said things similar to that throughout his career, but I think when Tyson was saying it, it was more of a psychological that he was trying to get inside his opponent's heads. I don't know if he really, obviously Tyson, he knocked a lot of people out, and he had
a story motherfucker.
Yeah, he had he had power. His uppercut and hooks. They were.
Wait, I gotta stop you right there. Hold on. The way you said he had power, it was like,
No. Yeah, no, I understand. No, okay. Mike Tyson had he's probably the hardest hitting boxer to ever step in the ring, no disrespect to, some of the greats like Muhammad Ali and things like that. They didn't have Mike Tyson's power. And, you know, Deontay Wilder, his right, it might be just as powerful as Tyson's power. That was a vicious right hand he connected on Brazil last night for a round 1 knockout. I mean, the dude was done after that. Like I said, I don't think, Mike Tyson was saying it in the way he said it, and I don't blame Wilder for what he said about fighting Brazil, because like I said, I think it's a kill or be killed mentality. But another thing I want to get into is, how do you feel watching a fight when there's this big hype over a fight, especially all week after, the WBC rebuked Wilder's comments and things like that? How do you feel about round 1 knockouts? When a boxer steps into a ring and you're expecting a fight to sit down and watch, some good rounds of boxing, how do you feel when the fight ends so shortly?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I actually love it, because it is those, for me at least, I know how people like seeing people go toe to toe in the ring, and, the bobbing, the weaving, the psychology of it all. People love that. But for me, I just want to see the knockout. The knockout is the most, exciting thing about boxing. That's what people, draw into. I'll give you a perfect example of a situation similar to that in MMA, because I'm a big MMA fan. So one of the biggest fights, the biggest draws that they had was Jose Aldo versus Conor McGregor. That ended in 12 seconds. He landed one punch. Technically, it was like the second punch. He barely connected on the first one, so they don't count it. It was really one punch, though. He knocked him out in 12 seconds. This was the most, or it might have been less. Was it? Yeah, no, it was 12 seconds. Knocked him out in 12 seconds, and it was the greatest thing I've ever seen, and I loved every second of it.
Yeah.
It was something like, so yes, he knocked him out in the first round. Wilder took out Brazil in the first round, but it was such a destruction. Oh man, the punch was so beautiful. It just created a moment, an iconic moment. Well, not iconic, but it was just a great moment. And I think that's why people buy boxing, or go to these events. They want to see that knockout. So if anyone had a problem with it, then why did you watch it? I mean, you're watching heavyweights who knock each other out. That's what they do.
Yeah, no, and I see. This is where I'm torn, and I'm gonna say why. A lot of people don't know this, but in high school, I did box a little bit. And for the training and all that to go into it as a fighter, yes, you're trying to win the fight and end it, but to me, if I was Deontay Wilder, I'd be a little disappointed, because, yeah, I won, but, all the talking and stuff and my opponent goes down like that, but, I'd be disappointed. As a fan, I love it. I wish boxing to me has changed a lot over, the past 10 to 20 years. You don't see guys, a lot, both guys anyway, it doesn't seem like leaving the ring bloodied, like blood, swollen eyes, broken jaws. That to me is boxing. And I think that is what's missing from today's boxing society. No disrespect to Deontay Wilder, because that was a hell of a punch. And I think, everybody felt it. I mean, I was like, oh my, oh Lord, like when he rocked that.
Bro, I was at work watching the fight. I'm over there, I'm cutting boxes up, right? And I saw the punch on my phone, and I almost cut myself with the blade. I was like, oh shit. Like, it was, oh man. That was amazing. It was amazing. But I do got to ask you something, and I hate to interrupt you, but you said that if you were Wilder, you would be disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, and
How
here's
can you- but how can you be disappointed if you said before the fight you want to kill the man and that's what you did? I
nah,
mean, you know,
because okay, so the way I look at it is this: they were talking trash on each other up until this fight, and um, Brazil had his take, Wilder had his, and it just kept going back and forth. And then the whole thing with Wilder, I want to kill this man. I understand he did that, but as a fighter, when you go up against somebody who talks so much smack, you expect them to be more than that. You know what I'm saying? To go down like that for me, it'd be disappointing for me as a fighter, because it's like, really, you hyped this up that much and you went down like that in the first round. And don't get me wrong, I don't think, let's say he survived the first round, he was going down in the second round. I think he knocked him out with I don't remember how many seconds were left in the first round, but it was in the closing minute, I believe.
it was if I remember right, it was he knocked him out in 2:31 into the round.
Yeah. So
if I remember that right.
But I expected more, I guess, as a viewer from Brazil and the things he said than what he showed me. I mean, because there was a lot of trash talk. And I understand boxers do that; it's part of the sport. I guess I would just be disappointed if I was Wilder, because Wilder's probably ready to fight his next opponent and can't for a certain amount of time because of the rules. So
well, I'm not sure what are the rules as far as when he can fight next. You know more about that than me.
And again, I'm not, because they've changed. But I think he has to wait a certain amount of time. He's waiting for the next big fighter to emerge, I think, before he's going to fight anybody.
He wants Joshua.
Yeah, no, you're right. He does, and
he's been trying. I mean, he said it on ESPN that he's been trying. He tried 4 or 5 times to fight this man, and the man's been dodging him. I don't know if that's true. I'm just using his words, or paraphrasing his words, I should say, because I don't know if that's exactly what he said. But he said he tried 4 or 5 times to try to fight the man. The man didn't want to basically fight him.
I wouldn't want to fight him either.
Right. But you can't be shout out to Ric Flair for this, but to be the man, you got to beat the man. And I mean, Wilder right now is the man. Joshua's saying he's the man. You still got Fury, who had a draw with Wilder.
Yeah, I'd see. That's a fight I want a rematch to see, because I think that was a great fight. That went to decision. So
that was a great fight, and I would love to see that again. I would. It was a great fight. I didn't watch the beginning of it. I caught the last 6 rounds. But from what I saw in those 6 rounds, yeah, I definitely want to see it again. I just want someone to knock out Joshua real quick, though, because I haven't seen all the people he's fought. I don't think they're not really big names.
Yeah.
And if he call himself the man, I don't see Fury up there. I don't see you fighting Fury. I don't see you fighting Wilder. Has Joshua fought Brazil at least?
To be honest, I'm not sure on that. I don't think it matters who Joshua's fought till he fought Wilder, to be perfectly honest.
That is true.
I don't care who he fights. And to bring up an earlier point, you said, he's, Joshua's dodging Wilder. That's another thing, in my opinion, that's changed about boxing. It seems like everybody these days, and this isn't just in this weight class, this is all weight classes. Everybody wants to say they want to be the man, but they don't want to step up and fight each other. They want to get these win-loss records stacked up to where they can dispute themselves a man, but they don't ever want to fight anybody at their peak. And that's kind of what I have a problem with. I feel like back in the day, that didn't happen. Back in the day, if you were number 1, number 2, you were fighting. And that's what I've had a problem with the past, I'd say, probably decade or so. And, no disrespect to Floyd Mayweather, but I think he kind of started it all. Floyd Mayweather's undefeated, and
Yeah.
and he's probably the best defensive fighter I've seen, but I don't think he's the best fighter, period, like he claims.
Like pound for pound, you mean?
Yeah, pound for pound. I don't think he's the best fighter. And I don't think he was the best fighter in his weight class for all the fighters he fought, And that's kind of my problem with boxing today. It's hard for me to watch because Wilder should not have been fighting this man. Let's be honest. I understand the challenge.
Just a quick update. Joshua did fight Brazil. He beat him. He knocked him out in the 7th round.
Okay. So, Wilder should be fighting the best of the best, and the people shouldn't be ducking him. I understand it's a business and they have to get their money right, but like I said, I think Mayweather started it. Wilder doesn't seem to be ducking anybody, and people keep ducking him. So it'll be interesting to see who his next fight is. I wish him luck because they're gonna need it. But
well, anything other than Joshua or Fury is a disappointment.
Yeah. But as a fan of the sport, and a lot of people, and like I said, I used to do it in high school, it wasn't like my main sport. I just did it for fun. But as a fan and as somebody who did it for a while, to me, it's disappointing to see everybody ducking, everybody and wanting to basically crown themselves and not wanting to earn it. It'll be interesting, and a lot of people are going to disagree with me about Floyd, and that's fine. Maybe we could talk about it at a later date, but like I said, I have my opinions about Floyd. I have my opinions about this fight. The punch was incredible. It was something. I was stunned watching it. I didn't think. I mean, he landed just a perfect punch with incredible. Wilder's power just seems unfair in today's.
Just look at him.
Yeah,
the man is, I mean, he's all muscled up, toned, and woo. That's not the person I want to get hit by. I'm sorry.
Nah.
You compare the bodies, just looking at them. I mean, Brazil looked chubby. I don't know if that's his normal weight or whatever, but he don't look like he's fit. Oh man.
Well,
I mean, I don't want to get hit by Wilder. That's all I'm saying.
You can't go in the ring scared because you're gonna get hurt. But I don't think you add fuel to the fire by saying the comments about Wilder that were said. And some of the things that he quote unquote said came from Wilder's mouth, so you don't really know if that's true. But for a lot of the casual fans who have never laced up the gloves and stepped in a ring, I don't think people understand how. I think people view boxing as, oh, these two guys are just going to get in the ring and clobber each other. I don't think they know how much focus and dedication, not only mentally but physically, it takes to prepare, and not only prepare but actually fight these fights. And that's why, to me, it was disappointing to see Brazil talk all this trash and then go down like that. But that's my.
From experience, though, is it like, since you have done it, is it the most, or were you in any fights, or did you just do training?
So I never actually stepped in a ring and fought, like, for a record, but so there's a couple clubs where I live. I was part of a club, and when we were, after we had trained a while, we would go to another club or another club come to us, and we would have sparring matches with other guys, which is basically a simulation fight. We would just do, a couple rounds, and, even then, those rounds, I mean, I've played football, I've played basketball, the conditioning, things like that. This is and I've never done MMA, so I'm sure MMA is up there too, or probably even more so because, they get on the ground. But the training and conditioning to not only be ready to fight, but get in there and have all that training and then get hit, it's one of the most grueling physical tolls mentally and physically you could put on your body. And I have the most. I mean, basically, MMA and boxing is as close as we're ever going to get to the gladiators fighting in the Roman Colosseum. I mean, it's the closest you're ever going to get. So,
Right.
uh,
That's a good comparison. I can get that. I've never boxed before. I've done so when I was a wrestler, I did, and when I say wrestler, I don't want people to think like high school wrestling or anything. I did the professional wrestling. It was the backyard stuff, but one of the stuff that I did to train for it, and one of my trainers, shout out to Palalo RIP, um, he did MMA training with me, so I can get better because I never did the high school wrestling, and the floor wrestling, mat wrestling and stuff. So he did MMA training to get me prepared for it. So I don't know how similar that is to boxing, but I can understand your standpoint where it is I know for sure that they're both very physical training, more like that conditioning is a mental thing. And to be able to, to hone those skills, it can be tough on the mind. And for, just for it to already be something that's tough on the mind to do, and like you said, for Brazil to egg on Deontay Wilder, knowing that this man is not only mentally and physically ready to kill you, that's just the wrong move.
and I don't want people to get the wrong idea. I was, I did it it was like a side sport, like because I just loved it. It wasn't like my main sport, so I don't, I'm not, saying I walked in there killing people or anything. It was fun for me. It was nowhere near the competition that obviously these guys are in, but I just remember coming home from practice and being just physically and mentally exhausted. I mean, it's one thing to think about getting hit. It's another thing about actually getting hit and staying, and not getting disoriented. And I could only imagine getting hit by what Brazil got hit by last night. And, I don't know if he ever comes back from that. I mean, Wilder said earlier in the week, or I don't remember exactly when he said it, but he said the head is not meant to be hit. And he's exactly right. I mean, these boxers, look at Ali later in his life. He was not there mentally. So, I can only imagine what that hit did to Brazil. I'm sure he doesn't remember much, and I'm sure, he's a little dizzy today. So, like I said, it was a hell of a hit. Wilder's a top dog. I have no question. I don't care. All I want to see is a Tyson Fury rematch between them. He's the only one that technically has ever gotten, I guess you could say, the best of Wilder. Like, it went to decision. So it'll be interesting to see the future. But I thought, we should talk about it because, the comments that were made, and then like I said, I was disappointed the fight ended quickly. I wanted to kind of see a slugfest after the bad blood that went on between them. But Wilder did what Wilder does. His, other than the Tyson Fury fight, he's annihilated opponents. So it was a good thing. But speaking of knockouts, Ruff, why don't you take us over to the playoffs in the NBA, because there are some potential knockouts coming.
Well, we may have some more. We may have a more devastating knockout than even Wilder on Brazil in the NBA playoffs, like you were saying, because right now we got the Golden State Warriors. They're up 3-0 against the Blazers. They did another comeback for the second game in a row to beat the Blazers. I think it was 110-99. Yep. Steph Curry with another 36 points. I think that's his third straight game with 36. It was. I think that's his favorite number or something. He had 6 threes. He's been balling. In fact, the whole team has just played really well.
And I'm going to stop you right there before you continue. I think we need to take a moment to appreciate what's happening in that series. I mean, no disrespect to Seth Curry because he is not his brother, but I think, for two brothers to be on opposite teams playing each other in the Western Conference Final is something, that's probably once in a lifetime thing that we'll ever see. But it's for me, it's kind of cool to see that. You don't really see that often. I mean, one of the closest things I've ever seen to that was when the Harbaugh brothers coached against each other. So in the Super Bowl. So, but yeah, I just wanted to take some time to appreciate that. So,
well, I got to give love to Steph Curry too, because Steph Curry, do you know where he went to school?
Go ahead. I already know. Just go
he
ahead.
Was a big Blue Devil. Yes, he was. And just a quick little thing about Steph Curry, and Duke. I want people to understand something. Everyone knows that Steph Curry, well, not everyone, but Steph Curry went to Liberty before he went to Duke. That's a college in North Carolina. He went there and then transferred over. And I honestly believe this to this day, that the only reason Steph Curry went to Duke is because Steph Curry, his big brother, is the biggest regret of Coach K's career. I think Coach K super regrets not recruiting Steph Curry, and that's why he got his brother, because he thought his brother would be Steph. Because everyone knows Steph's career in college,
and he's not. Let's put it there. He's good enough talent for the NBA, but he's not near the player his brother is. In my opinion.
I mean, he's not. He's actually smaller than his brother. I think he's
6'2". I think Steph Curry's 6'3". Yeah,
6'3", 6'4", something like that. Longer range, is a better shooter. I mean, obviously, Steph Curry is the greatest shooter that we've all ever seen. And I will argue anybody that thinks different of that. I mean, and let's just get back to the actual series. But I just wanted to say that because, I mean, much respect to Steph Curry. He has played well. But although he's playing well, their stars aren't. Dame time, you remember it was Dame time everyone was talking about, Dame
around world. Yeah.
Forget about that. Dame time is over. Well, where has he been? Have you seen him, JT?
I have not, and it's frustrating as a fan of the NBA. I'm not going to say he hyped himself up after that big shot against the Thunder, but everyone else did. And really what no one's talking about is CJ McCollum had some big games for Portland that actually got them to this point.
Okay, because I was going to say, he ain't done nothing so far in this series. But yeah. I got you. He did. He had the epic Game 7. Yeah, much props. I actually lost $100 because of him. I betted on Denver. I bet $100 on Denver against some of my boys. And because CJ McCollum decided to show up and go off, I lost that $100 bet. So,
but, yeah. When we talk about the Warriors, especially this season, I feel like because, and maybe even last season too with Kevin Durant, no one's really talking about how well Draymond Green is playing, and I think that's a factor to where you see Dame and CJ disappearing. He's playing really, really well. He's playing super good defense in this series, I think. So I think that's a factor. So
I agree. I definitely agree with that. I mean, one thing about Draymond Green does not get the respect he deserves. Draymond Green is not an elite player. He's not a top 5 player in his position, or he may not even be top 10 in his position talent wise.
I'll disagree with that, but we can go ahead.
I think he's
one of the better defenders in the
Well,
league.
no, that's what I mean. Just give me a sec, because what I mean when he's not top 5 or top 10 in his position, I mean more as a talent-wise. Talent-wise, if you put in what he can actually do, not the dirty work, not the little things, because a lot of NBA players don't get the credit for the little things. You know, that's what he does. He does the dirty work. He's the one that commands his defense. He is the heartbeat of that team, and there's no stats for being a heartbeat. So that's what I mean. I would take Draymond Green on my team any day, on any team I create. I don't care what it is. I want Draymond Green on my team. That it's not even. There's no question about that. I love Draymond Green. Draymond Green might be my second favorite player in the league. My number one is Jokic. I love Jokic. The Joker, the God is what I call him. D.A. God. That is, Jokic is my favorite player. But Draymond's number 2 because of what he does for that team. You know, one of the things, have you heard the video of when so basically the story was Jordan Bell in game 3, he missed a wide open dunk. And there's a video that got released later that night where Draymond Green is telling him, because I think he has a mic, he's mic'd up, whatever.
Uh-huh.
So on the court, he's telling him, he's like, yo, Jordan, like, I missed a shot, Steph missed a shot, Clay missed shots, like, we all miss shots. Don't worry about it. Just keep shooting. We got this. And the way he said it, it was just like, yo, I want that man on my team. That's a leader right there.
So I guess this is worth talking about, because I think Draymond Green, I like his attitude. He takes on anybody. He's not afraid of anybody down there. I think some people might say, well, I don't think some people. I think a lot of people would say he's a little undersized to play down there.
Right.
But do you think maybe he doesn't get the respect he deserves? And I think this is a fair point because of some of his past antics, and especially in the postseason where he's considered to be a dirty player. Do you maybe think that's where some of the respect is going, because no one wants to give him I mean, because he did get suspended, you know, in the NBA Finals where LeBron came back down 3 games. So,
yep.
And I think had they had Draymond Green, LeBron doesn't win. The Cavaliers don't win that NBA Finals if
I agree.
Draymond Green is back. But I think maybe that might be where he gets, you know, some of his praise, I guess that we should say, falls off. And that's just my opinion. Like I said, I like his attitude, and I do think he's done some things that you can't defend. You know, the Harden eye poke that everybody was going to – that wasn't intentional.
Yeah, that was an accident.
Some of the other things he did, I can't defend. You know, he did –
Well, hold on, because, all right, the only thing that I can defend it, first off. But I'm going to go back to what you said, what you asked me first, and then I'll jump to this because it's going to lead to it. The reason why he doesn't get respect isn't because of those things. The reason he doesn't – the actual reason why he doesn't get the respect is because of who's around him. If you compare skill sets, if you just look at shooting ability, passing ability, dribbling ability, rebound ability, just all those stuff, okay? No one in their right mind is going to compare Draymond's shooting ability to Steph Curry or to Clay or to Kevin Durant or even to Iggy. You know what I'm saying?
They shouldn't, though. That's why
I know. But see, people, to me, in my opinion, that people look at their stats more than anything. So they see Kevin Durant drop 40 on 13 shots, let's say. And they think that's awesome, which it is. But then they look at Draymond, who has 10 points, he'll get 9 rebounds and like 7 assists, and they'll say, that's all right. But it's not, it's not Kevin Durant who's dropped 40 points. And no, it's not Kevin Durant that drops 40 points, but Draymond Green does things that, yes, his stats may not be beautiful and look awesome and just stunning and all this, but he does things that don't count for stats, that he just doesn't get the respect for. The way he plays defense, his aggressiveness, the way that he'll box out so someone else gets these rebounds, or the tips when he's knocking the ball back, to Steph Curry, or when he's bringing up the ball on offense and he's basically playing like a quarterback, commanding the offense and telling people where to go and who to set the screen to and all this stuff. We don't see that in the stat book.
So I would agree with that there is a lot more there's more talent around him and he gets overshadowed. I mean, when you think of the Golden State Warriors, no one thinks Draymond Green first. He's probably named last out of Klay, Steph, and Kevin Durant. I mean, he's probably named last. And I'd agree that you're saying the talent on Golden State Warriors is superior to every other team in the league, because it is. But one thing I love about Draymond, and this is one of my favorite quotes that he's ever said to a player, was what he said to Paul Pierce a few years ago when Paul Pierce thought he was going to have a Kobe-like farewell tour. He keeps it real. He said, "You're not Kobe. No one loves you like that." That attitude is what I really respect about Draymond Green. Like I said, I can't defend some of the things he's done, but as a player, he plays hard every game. He might not have the best numbers at the end of the day, but he doesn't leave anything out on the court. He doesn't quit, and I think he's playing really well this series, and it's going quiet, unnoticed because of what Steph Curry is doing right now. And even Kevin Durant being out, not even being on the floor, I think is getting more attention right now than Draymond Green. And I think that's just ridiculous.
Let me ask you this about that, since you brought that up. So I have stated with some friends that I believe that the Warriors – so let's just assume, because the Warriors are up 3-0, they're going to the finals. Let's just assume that, okay? And I believe the Bucks, even though there's only 2-0, and they got Game 3 tonight, but let's just assume the Bucks go on, okay? So you got Warriors and Bucks. Let's say Kevin Durant can't play the series against the Bucks in the finals. Who do you have winning that series, and why?
So, and I've said this, and I'm not, I'm a Lakers fan, but when the Lakers don't do well, I root for teams close to me, and the closest team to me was Oklahoma City. So I thought, and I might be biased because Kevin Durant went there and I thought it was a weak move, but I thought Golden State was the most talented, or one of the most talented teams in the league, top 3 teams in the league without Kevin Durant. Some could argue they were the most talented team. When Kevin Durant went there, that automatically, I don't see any team beating them in a 7-game series with Kevin Durant. With that being said, without Kevin Durant, I'm going to say Golden State wins 4-2. I don't see Milwaukee shutting down Steph and Klay. Giannis is going to get his. He's a great player, but I just don't see the Bucks. They don't have enough to top Golden State, even without Kevin Durant. So,
for me, I have the Warriors beating the Bucks without Kevin Durant, but I will be the first one to admit that it will be an upset. I think the Bucks have more than enough. I think the Bucks should actually be the favorites in that series. Without Kevin Durant. Like
based on what? Clearly there's not anybody that's going to match up with Giannis. Let's throw that out there. So where are the other matchups that you think they have enough?
Well, let's just say this. All right, so they have one of the deepest benches in the league. They have one of the best. They have the best role players so far. It's looking like they have the best role players in the league. I mean, behind Giannis, you got Eric Bledsoe, you got Chris Middleton, you got Brook Lopez, you got Malcolm Brogdon, you got Ilyas Silva, you got Pat Connaughton. I mean, the list goes on. They have a squad. They have a bunch of three-point shooters that, as a group, can compare and compete with Golden State. Definitely, if it's a game where maybe Steph is off a little bit or if Clay is off, they have the team to do it. Now, people will say, well, you're arguing for the Bucks as far as maybe that you're saying the Bucks should, are going to win. Well, I think the Bucks should win. But I believe and honestly believe that the Warriors are going to win. I believe in Steph. I believe in Clay. I think Steph's legacy is actually on the line if he goes to the finals and faces either the Bucks or the Raptors, because I feel he needs to win this series. He needs to win the finals without Durant. Even though he did it before, there was excuses before. He beat LeBron, who didn't have Kyrie, who didn't have Love. So people say, that's why LeBron lost that series. And LeBron did take them to 6 without them. So this would tell, if they win without Kevin Durant against the Bucks or the Raptors, but I'm assuming it's the Bucks, if he beats them, that cements his legacy that, yeah, he is the man. He needs to be up as one of the best players of this generation. I mean,
I'm not gonna. I'm gonna disagree with you. I'll tell you why. And this is why I don't think the Bucks should be favorite. The Warriors were champions without Kevin Durant. They're still a championship team when he's down. They've been there before. They know how to do it. You mentioned those guys, Bledsoe, Lopez. They're good players, good role players. But I just don't see in a 7-game series both Steph and Clay not scoring, their points that have made them successful in past seasons. I just don't see it. Like I said, Giannis is going to get his. He's going to have some good games. I give him 2 games in a 7-game series. And that series it's only 2-0. We don't know what's going to happen. I think the Bucks are still going to win. I don't think the Raptors have enough to take down the Bucks.
Well, I'm thinking right now Bucks in 4.
Yeah, I'm not. I have the Bucks winning 4-1. I think the Raptors will get 1 game.
I think it's over. I think it's over.
But it's hard for me to bet against Golden State and say that they're not going to be the favorites when they have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, who are 2 of the most prolific shooters we've ever seen.
Well, let me ask you this. Would you rather have them 2 or Giannis?
See, that's a tough question because I also think Giannis is a generational player. But I'm going to go with the team that's done it before. I'm going to go with Steph and Clay. They've won before. They know how to win. So that's who I'm going with. And I really
I gotta agree with you.
I really don't like Golden State, to be honest. They're as talented and as fun as they are to watch score all them points. The Lakers fan being in the West, I don't even like them. So it's hard for me to say that, and I actually would be rooting for Milwaukee in that matchup, but I just don't think they'll win. I think I like I said, I'll give them 2 games in a 7-game series. I'll have Golden State winning 4-2, but that's just my
7.
You have them going 7 games.
I have Warriors in 7. Warriors in 7.
It'll be interesting to see for sure.
Steph as MVP, because Steph, he already got robbed the 1 MVP. I'm sorry, Iggy, but he should have got the first one. Um, and I think Steph, like I said, I think Steph needs it because besides all the stuff I said before, one other point, he needs it because he needs to do it. A lot of people say he only won those last two because of Durant. Um, or I'm sure people are thinking. I don't know if it's a lot of people, but people
Uh,
are thinking that definitely after losing 3-1 to the Cavs in the finals and all that, I just think Steph needs it. Um, I believe his legacy is on the line. He will always be known as the greatest shooter. Don't get me wrong. That's not changing. But him as one of the greatest players, I think this would be an accomplishment that puts him up there, pushing. He may already be pushing. I'm sure he's already in the top 50. I don't know where in the top 50, whether it be high, low, I don't know where. Never sat down and thought about it. But if he won the series and won the finals without Durant, I think you can easily slot him in top 20,
so
if not even higher.
so I guess to your point, it's a question I think that's worth asking. You were saying, so is this your opinion that he won his last two because of Kevin Durant, or did Kevin Durant win two championships because he joined Golden State? I think that's more the question that people need to answer, because I
think
don't
that's the toughest question.
I don't think they ever needed Kevin Durant, and I think they still would have won at least one of those without him. I understand Kevin Durant has been balling out since he went there, but again, and this might be being biased because I don't like what he did going there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Kevin Durant's allowed to play free and loose like that because he plays with a team that already were breaking scoring records before he ever got there.
And you're right about that. I mean, it's a tough question. Whether who deserves more, is it the Warriors or whether Kevin Durant probably wouldn't have won a title if not joining the Warriors, but him on the Warriors guaranteed them the title. Because he is, arguably, if not already, the greatest player in the world right now. Not ever. I mean, right now. So it's a tough one. I think it's 50-50, to be honest. It's 50-50. Durant just, Steph did average almost a triple-dub in the finals, but Durant balled his ass off. I mean, you can't take away 30 – what he averaged, like 35, 34, something like that in the finals.
Something ridiculous like that. I mean,
and those daggers that he did against LeBron, and I mean,
he had the killer
instinct.
I can't either, because he did play a great game, but I also think people want to say, oh, Kevin Durant's the best player in the world now, and I think if he goes to the Knicks and can win on the Knicks, even though he's going to have Kyrie Irving, is what sounds like to me.
Right.
Only then can people say, okay, this dude is the best player. I mean, because he had great numbers in OKC, but he never accomplished anything there. And some people can say, oh, well, now everyone's seeing why Russell Westbrook was the problem. I mean, in the series they lost that ultimately led Kevin Durant going to the Warriors, Russell Westbrook in that final game turned the ball over. I don't remember how many times, but he turned the ball over in critical moments. So, I'm not trying to say Kevin Durant would have won if he didn't have Westbrook. I'm just saying I wish the energy Kevin Durant carries with him now he had at OKC, because Kevin Durant's personality completely changed when he went there. And I think it's because he knew, hey, I can play this way because I'm on this team that was already freakishly good before I got here.
Right.
And
no, I agree. I'll just end it with this. I'll just say that the one thing about Kevin Durant joining the Warriors and winning those titles is at least he was the best player on the floor when he did it.
I'll
He
agree.
wasn't. He wasn't a secondary. He didn't lead off a step. He was the best player.
They did
credit.
go as he went, and especially last year.
Exactly.
So I'll agree with that.
So I think that's, and we both have Warriors. You have Warriors in 6 in the finals that they play the Bucks. I got them in 7, and this is without Kevin Durant. I'm sure we'll get into that more later on in the episodes coming up. So we got Game 3 tonight between Raptors and Bucks. Who you got winning that game, JT? Real quick.
You said earlier that you think the Bucks are going to sweep them.
Yeah, I got Bucks winning.
I don't know. I don't have them sweeping them. I don't know if they'll win tonight or Game 4, but I have the Raptors winning one game. I don't think they'll get swept. Yeah.
All right, that's cool. Well, we will see, and we'll talk about that result on an upcoming episode. But I do want to speak real quick about the next episode we're doing, episode 2. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be doing a little bit more debating, because we're going to be ranking our top 5 NBA players from our generation. And when I say our generation, we're actually going to be starting from year 2000 to right now. So, like I said, we're going to be ranking the top 5 NBA players, doesn't matter position, from the year 2000 to right now.
And maybe we should, kind of tell them that we do this all the time. Now we're just doing it on here. I think, we do this a lot. So,
we talk about it off air a lot. And, we thought we feel like it's exciting off the air, it'll be even better when it's on. So we want you guys to feel and hear our opinions and as far as what we believe. Also, another ranking we're going to be doing the top 5 quarterbacks from the year 2000 to right now. That's all going to be on episode 2 of the Daddy Fino Flash Podcast. Obviously, I'm Daddy Fino. That was JT Flash.
Yep.
So we're out of here. We're gonna send it off right now. So I'll see you guys. I love you. I appreciate you. Peace.
Stay tuned for episode 2.